Not guilty. That's what a Rankin County judge ruled today in the payroll fraud case of a former Richland mayor. The verdict coming before a jury could decide. Investigative reporter CJ LeMaster has exclusive coverage from the trial that began from information we first uncovered.
There's so much wrong with the state's case, I don't know where to begin.
On the second day of former Richland Mayor Pat Sullivan's criminal fraud trial,
the state not only failed to prove intent, they failed to prove fraud, they failed to prove the fraudulent timesheets were submitted.
Rankin County Circuit Judge Bradley Mills had enough.
We're not going to waste this jury's time, not one more second.
Judge Mills granted a motion for a directed verdict of not guilty from the defense, ending the state's months-long investigation that began from information we first unearthed in 2023. Prosecutors from the state attorney general's office tried to establish that Pat Sullivan had defrauded taxpayers by claiming to work for the Rankin County tax assessor's office on 19 different days over several years while he was out of town or out of state at other events as mayor. One could make the argument that Sullivan was working remotely, but the state's investigator didn't find any overwhelming evidence of that.
I believe maybe one day where it showed him logged in, but the other days that it seemed logged in.
The biggest piece of evidence touted by the state, timesheets that showed time worked while Sullivan was elsewhere. But two witnesses said the timesheets that every employee in the assessor's office had to use didn't mean anything, according to Judge Mills.
John was not a fan of timesheets, but the county office requires to do so. Proposed, requested time off, that sort of thing.
John is former Rankin County tax assessor John Sullivan, Pat's boss and brother. The other witness, Rankin County Board Attorney Craig Slay, said timesheets help control overtime for the county.
That's why those timesheets exist. They are to help us to watch out for the possibility of violating the overtime laws. And so you don't have to worry about that for management level employees.
After Slay's testimony, Special Assistant Attorney General Stephanie Brown told Judge Mills she had rebuttal witnesses to challenge what the attorney said on the stand. But in the midst of the state's efforts to prove its case, the judge shut it down.
I think the judge saw what we said when we argued it, and that was that the state has completely failed to prove any intent. Any fraudulent intent, and that has to be proven very strongly.
In Rankin County, CJ LeMaster, 3 on your side.